Our top stories this week. Finance Minister said the government has not violated the provisions of the Constitution while exempting sales tax and custom duty on books imported in 2015. Trade Department will take up the issue of recovering the inadmissible amounts from LPG dealers once again with the Royal Audit Authority. And Bhutan plans to introduce a technology to produce crude oil from plastic wastes. This is Zangpula, I am Tony Selden, and this is Bhutan This Week. Increased number of women came to showcase their artworks in this year's All Bhutan Women Art Exhibition held in Thimphu. With the theme Her Expression, there were some 48 women artists, up from just 20 last year.
Her Royal Highness Princess Sonamdechan Wangchuk opened the exhibition. Besides paintings and drawings, this one in particular attracted most of the visitors. This is a cake with Kishitara pattern with all those intricacies. Such kind of exhibition is very important since most of the women hide their talent and doesn't expose. As a participant, my showpiece is a Kishitara cake because every woman likes Kishitara and a woman will be expressed through Kishitara. Vast Bhutan organized the exhibition to encourage women to showcase their talents.
It creates a big platform for women artists because normally whenever we have any kind of exhibition, it's kind of male dominated. We see less of women artists, but such a platform brings all the women artists together.
About 148 artworks are on display. A 6-year-old girl was also among the participants. The exhibition will be open till 30th August. Tamchisam for PBS News.
Finance Minister said the government has not violated the provisions of the Constitution and is mindful of the rule of law. He was responding to the opposition party who accused the government of violating the provisions of the Constitution while exempting sales tax and custom duty on books imported in 2015. The opposition party had also said that the provisions cited by the Ministry of Finance from the Sales Tax, Customs and Excise Act 2000 to authorize this exemption are null and void as per the Constitution and the Supreme Court's verdict on the first constitutional case between the government and the opposition party.
The provisions in the Sales Tax, Customs and Excise Act of 2000, which were actually inconsistent to the Constitution of Bhutan, has been amended in the Public Finance Act of 2012. So that means all the provisions that were inconsistent to the Constitution have been repealed from this act, and then the rest of the sections and provisions are still in force. Before the previous government actually dissolved the government, in 2013, in addition to the fiscal incentive of 2010, in 2013 they have further given additional incentive for the hotels, especially for the high-end hotels. Now with this, today the total revenue foregone is about 6,600 million. I am quite concerned and surprised because firstly, the government has sought an opinion from the Supreme Court, and in the Supreme Court it is very much in the judgment that it is a prerogative of the government.
The audit recoveries accounts show that the Department of Trade has not yet collected and deposited inadmissible amounts of more than 112 million yutam from the 3 LPG dealers. The amount was collected from consumers from home delivery services. The special audit report presented to the National Council in May this year had asked the Department of Trade to collect the overcharged amount and deposit in the audit recoveries account at the earliest.
It has been more than 2 months since the National Council deliberated on the issue. The National Council decided the amount be recovered from the 3 LPG dealers. The dealers are Bhutan Oil Distributors, Damchin Petroleum Distributors and Druk Petroleum Corporation. The special audit report had stated Department of Trade was responsible for protecting the citizens from unfair business practices, but it failed to carry out their function with due diligence.
The Department of Trade declined to comment on the matter. Since Tuesday, they have been saying they will issue a press release, but even today, we are yet to receive one. The department said they will conduct a press conference, but again, we don't know when.
The Royal Audit Authority was asked to conduct a special audit on LPG and kerosene by the National Council last year. The special audit found that inadmissible charges of home delivery services were imposed on consumers until October 2014. The distributors were found to have charged for home delivery services without actually providing the services. Chetan Dupchu, PBS News.
The Department of Trade will take up the issue of recovering the inadmissible amounts for home delivery and depreciation cost of LPG cylinders once again with the Royal Audit Authority this month. In a press conference, trade officials said the consumers of LPG cylinders have not been cheated and that there were no lapses on part of the department. The special audit findings had earlier stated that the department failed to protect citizens from unfair business practices. The department was asked to recover the inadmissible amount collected as home delivery charges and depreciation cost worth over 186 million yutam and deposit in the audit recoveries account at the earliest.
LPG rates were, approved by the government by Language Yunsuk in 1999. Thereafter, we even employed a consultant in 2009 to relook, and certain rates came down. So it's done through a very a legal process. You have to keep the people who are the dealers. If they are not able to survive, stay afloat, they can't deliver the service. So these rates, in fact, in the other products also, we had to give a 15% more than the Indian rate. Why? Because the Indian rate was not enough, because India had the volumes. The depreciation was allowed by the government. Since LPG was introduced, and 99 we have records, very clear records where the Language Yunsuk approved. Our cylinders are for a 15-year. We have calculated depreciation on the 15-year. So every 15 years, if the cylinder is no more serviceable, they are supposed to replace it.
In an effort to improve waste management, Thimphu Thomde is planning to introduce a technology of converting plastic wastes into crude oil and degradable wastes into manure. The Thomde is currently reviewing 2 proposals received for the purpose. While one of the 2 companies is based in India, the other is a joint venture.
As per the proposal, the Plastic to Fuel project will process 5 to 10 tons of plastics every day. The technology will not require any washing or segregation of the waste. All kinds of plastics can be directly picked from the landfill and processed into crude oil.
The very reason why we want to adopt this technology to convert plastic to oil is mainly to protect our environment. The plastic is not biodegradable. Once plastic is dumped in the landfill, it will last forever. And that will definitely impact our environment. If this technology is adopted for Bhutan, we are definitely going to benefit so much so that Thimphu, for that matter, even other dzongkhaks in Bhutan will definitely benefit out of this technology.
The technology will help the Thomde in managing plastic waste that has been dumped at the Memelaga landfill for the last 30 years. Although the Thomde is yet to award the project to one of the bidders, officials said that it will be installed at Memelaga landfill site. There will be 10 collection centers. Thimphu Thomde plans to start the groundworks before 11 November this year. Sringdama Galson for BBS News.
The Limthang Tso Glacier Lake outburst flood on 20th June this year in Laya was triggered by the sudden drainage of supraglacial ponds at the headwater of the lake. Supraglacial lake is any pond of liquid water on top of a glacier. A team of experts who was at the lake said it was not caused by the earthquake that morning, as speculated by the people.
On the evening of the 28th June, this lake Lemtangso burst open, creating panic downstream. This is how it looks right now. Experts ruled out the possibility of the 5.5 magnitude earthquake in Assam that morning as the cause of the flood. According to reports from US Geological Survey, the lake experienced no major vibrations to cause the flood. Locals also reported rain that week, but there were no records to validate it. The flood washed away 4 bridges and caused 3 major landslides downstream, damaging the horse trails between Gasa and Laya. The team also assessed potential gulf hazards from the glacial lakes in the adjoining valley. Bhutan now has only 21 potentially dangerous lakes. The investigation found that 3 lakes, Lasokap, Sojoka and Lemtangso, did not pose any flood risk.
The Lemtangso is completely out of danger now. It has been totally emptied. The flood wave and the flow that are emerging from underneath the glaciers are now flowing along the empty lake basin. They have dug up their own channel now, so there is no hazard or risk associated with Lemtangso as of now.
He also said the potential gulf hazards from the 3 lakes are low. However, regular monitoring and assessment of the lakes are necessary to assure the risk. According to an inventory of 2001, there are over 2,000 glacial lakes, out of which 24 were considered potentially dangerous. There have been 12 glacial lake outburst floods since 1966. Sringde Magalsen for BBS News.
People in Gelifu are disappointed after taxis started overcharging them since the fare was revised just last month. The Road Safety and Transport Authority increased the passenger bus and taxi fares. The taxi fares were increased by 1 Newton for long distance and 3 Newton for local on the existing rates. The existing rates for taxi fare was 15 Newton per kilometer for both local and long distance.
It is about 1 kilometer from the present taxi parking area till hospital in Gelifu. As per the revision, the fare should be just 18 Newton irrespective of the number of passengers. But taxi drivers charge about 80 Newton.
We don't have other means of transportation besides taxis. If the fare is increased by the government, then we don't have anything to say. But we doubt the taxi drivers.
We have to use taxis to go to hospital and vegetable market. The sudden increase in the fare is affecting the ordinary people.
It has been over 3 weeks since the fares were increased. Previously, if the fare was 50, they are charging 80 Newton now. I don't understand on what basis the fare has been increased.
According to the representative of the Gelifu Taxi Association, the taxi fare in Gelifu has not been revised for quite some time now, and the fare was increased with approval from the authority.
We do not charge on kilometer basis. Irrespective of number of passengers we carry, we charge just 80 Newton. Taxi drivers didn't fix the rates. We discussed with officials from the RSTA and finalized it.
People say the fare is high even after the drop in the fuel price. But the price of the fuel keeps fluctuating. It is not only about fuel, but the price of vehicle spare parts has increased.
The fare has been increased by the Road Safety and Transport Authority. Otherwise, we never increase the fare. And when they increase the fare, we have to increase.
However, the Road Safety and Transport Authority said they never fixed these new rates charged by the taxi drivers in Gelifu. The officials said taxis will now have to follow new rates that they have prepared for local distance. People are asked to note down the registration number of the taxis and report to RSTA if they are overcharged. Taxis will have to pay back the extra amount charged to the passengers and will be fined 1,000 Newton. Today, there are 120 registered taxis in Galifo. For Fuba in Galifo, Tamchisam for BBS News.
Farmers say the power tiller spare parts are overpriced and fake at the Regional Agriculture Machinery Center in Wandipoda. The issue was raised in the recent Dzongkhag Tsogdu, the highest decision-making body in the Dzongkhag. The local leaders said the issue was raised twice in the past Tsogdus, but farmers still face the problem of getting spare parts for their power tillers.
Farmers claim that spare parts that cost 2,000 Newton in Thimphu and Paro are charged 10,000 Newton in Wandifodrang. Farmers also say the mechanics install Vietnam-made parts instead of Japan-made. The issue was raised in the recent Dzongkhag Tsogdu by groups of Jena, Kashi and Nisho Georgs.
People say it is difficult to get spare parts for power tillers from the center. Every time the parts are not available. But farmers say people working at the center tell them that they have the spare parts which are sold at a higher price. And the other thing is the center keeps spare parts made in Vietnam and sells at a rate equal to the parts made in Japan.
It is not easy to get, but we do get spare parts made in Vietnam. Most of the spare parts from Japan are not available, although we do get sometimes.
We only come sometimes, and when we come here, we don't get it like in Paro. Most of the spare parts are not available.
And local leaders said farmers of 15 Georgs are facing the problem.
Farmers can book in advance if we don't have the spare parts in our center. If we have, we just give them. Since we have to buy spare parts from Japan, it takes about 2 to 3 months to reach here. When we order, if the Japanese don't have the particular spare parts in stock, it is difficult to get. But they are very supportive. They make it for us and supply.
These days, it is the main problem. Since this is the only repair shop here, people come here to fix their power tillers. But sometimes the spare parts don't reach here on time, and sometimes we don't have all the spare parts. And we tell them that Vietnam-made parts are available with local dealers if they want to buy. We just provide the repairing service and tell farmers that they can also fix in other places.
The manager also said the issue of overpricing is unfounded since everything they do is recorded. For Kinsang Tinle in Wandifodrang, Dojijama for BBS News.
With low wage rate, many workers of the national workforce under the Department of Roads Office in Tingtibi Shemgang have left for better opportunities. This has left the office with shortage of workers. Of the 126 such workers under the office, 6 have already left this year.
50 years old Pima has been working with the Department of Roads for the last 5 years. Now he is planning to quit the job and look for another offering better wages. The current daily wage of 165 Newton a day is not able to meet Pima and his family's expenses.
I am thinking about quitting my job. It is difficult to live with a salary of 5,000 Newton per month despite our work output. Sometimes we have to work round the clock, risking our lives.
While Pima contemplates on quitting his job, many have already left for the same reason.
Our job is to clear bushes. From clearing of bushes to roadblocks, we have to do. The conditions under which we have to work are also risky. I joined the national workforce hoping to earn a decent livelihood, but I don't think it's possible with the wage we get. It is lesser compared to other organizations.
I have to feed my 3 children with a salary of just 5,000 newton a month. It is difficult.
With 120 workers as of now, the DOR office has already lost most of its young and strong workers.
It is true that we are facing shortage of workers. The existing workers are mostly women and aged. The young and stronger ones have already left. They work here and wait for better opportunities. They say 165 newton a day is not enough, and I don't have any comments on how the government is planning to address this problem.
He added that the problem will only get worse once construction and blacktopping of Gyo connectivity in the Dzongkhag roads are complete. Moreover, if the existing workers leave, the department would face acute shortage of workers, as it would be difficult to attract workers because of the comparatively low wage rate. For Pema Samdru in Shamgang, Sonam Ugen, VBS News.
According to a child labor survey conducted by Labor Ministry in 2013, over 3,700 working children are in the rural areas of Bhutan. Child labor includes working in manufacturing and service sectors, automobiles, agriculture, mining and construction work. But the survey indicated that maximum number of child labor occurs in agriculture and farming.
As I was yesterday, by the type of healthcare delivery,
The survey was revealed at the Ending Violence Against Children workshop. Mongar has the highest number of working children, followed by Thimphu. The survey was conducted for those children in the 5 to 17 age group. It was found that around 4,000 children are working outside their homes. Officials at the workshop said Bhutanese believe that children are expected to help their parents with household chores. But if the children are deprived of their childhood, their potential and dignity, and that is harmful to their physical and mental development, then it is a child labor.
Primarily, the issue of child marriage basically deals with
The South Asian Initiative to End Violence Against Children, a SARC apex body, is working towards a systems-building approach to strengthen child protection across the region. Around 44 million South Asian children are involved in child labor. Sringzam for BBS News.
Bhutan is known to the outside world for its culture and tradition, but in the face of modernization, to keep the age-old culture and tradition alive is a challenge. For instance, She and Shem, which are elaborately choreographed vocal performances, are dying a slow death. But before it's too late, the Royal Academy of Performing Arts is training its artists to perform She and Shem. She is performed by men and Shem is for women.
Artists from Royal Academy of Performing Arts are busy polishing their movements and getting the right tone of voice. They are learning Wangje. And this man is teaching the Wangje. Kille, who is from Thimphu, has been in this profession since he was 17. There are 4 major She: Wangje, Nubje, Gunje and Wochubije. Most of them share common tunes and dance formats.
Tanga nyemalara no di isla nga tanga chigi jungira bero nga chigi tamfugi lamzamda te phamsuti migi.
I feel that we should teach these dances since the government is also giving importance to its preservation. I particularly feel that Wangje is becoming less popular even in our villages. In the past, Jé and Jim were considered as one of the important performances during any events. But these days, it is different.
And women are also trained to perform shem. She and shem contain elements of both Junra and Peda. Lemo from Tonsa, who is training these women, said the dances have undergone a lot of transformations. She is teaching Shem, Bem, Shamshodole and Junra.
Even in the villages, very few people know these dances. Majority of the youths take more interest in Riksar and a few in Bedra, but very few are into Shungra. If we do not teach them, then it is going to disappear. Thankfully, Royal Academy of Performing Arts is taking initiative to preserve these dances.
And teachers of the academy are also learning the dances.
We practiced She in the past, but since it has deteriorated over the years, we invited Shepen Kile from Wan to teach us. There is a difference in what we practiced and the one we are learning today.
Chabigi jedida tarit lebe korana chendigibe te tembigi jedilo te kheba atse du se sunila.
They have been practicing over a week now to perform during the upcoming Thimpu Tsecho. But most important is, they are preserving an art which could be lost. Sonam Penjo for BBS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for joining us. You take care.